So, okay, let's say I want to save this out. I'll save it out. I hand it to the client. I'm not going to show you saving quite yet. And he says, this is good, almost perfect, but I want the left side of the business card sand dunes to be flipped in the other direction. So in order to do that, I'm going to click and drag, and I am going to go to Control T for transform and right click. So I'm in transform mode, which has so far allowed me to increase and decrease the size of the image. But there's a lot of other things that can be done in transform mode. If you notice, if I move the cursor here, I can do things like rotate them around. If I right click, I can do things like flip horizontally, which is exactly what we want. Let's hit enter. If I click and drag, I can grab these right here. Control T for transform. Right click to click horizontally. And then do the same thing for these last third. And right click doesn't do anything because we haven't hit Control T yet. I'm going to hit Control T, and you'll notice there's a problem. When I hit Control T, it selected far too much area. I only want it to select right here. So let's hit escape, and that will make it so none of the changes go. And I'm going to do it again. So I clicked outside of it in order to cancel out whatever layers were selected. I'm going to click and drag, hit Control T, and I'm going to hit escape again. So what's happening? Let's click and drag. What's happening is it also selected this part that has the text on it. So in order to get rid of that, I can do a couple of things. One of them is I can find it in the layers palette, hold down Control, click it, and then that layer will no longer be selected. That's a bit confusing. The other way to do it is to hold down Shift inside of the canvas, click, and then it won't be selected. If you hold down Shift, you can add and subtract layers from the selection. I think that made sense. I'm going to hit Control T right here, go to flip horizontal. There we go. These are flipped horizontally, and now we can mess them up. Wonderful. And let's actually select all of these and use the arrow keys to nudge them down. It didn't work, so I'm going to hit Control Z and try selecting them again. So hit this, hold down Shift, click, and now use the arrow keys to nudge these down ever so slightly. And I'm going to actually select all of these on the bottom as well, because it looks like they're not lined up. And I'm going to move these down. So you'll notice I'm using the arrow keys just to nudge them down so everything kind of aligns how I want. Great.